We have a lot to get to tonight, guys. We have been doing a lot of reading, we have been doing a lot of writing, and we have come across an absolute travesty for this cocktail. I have told you guys a story for many years. Somebody asked me today, how long have I been doing the show? I said about 5 years. For about 5 years, I've been telling you guys the same story about the Negroni, and I have a timeline here that possibly disproves what I've been saying. Listen, it takes a strong man to get in front of you and tell you that he has been lying to you for a long time. We have a lot to cover. So please, as one of my college professors used to say, lift up your pants. This is going to be some intellectual spinach, all right? We're going to get into it. So we're going to be covering today the Negroni, and we are going to find some interesting places where the Negroni, the origin of the Negroni has been debunked. We're going to talk about a few other people that could have come up with the Negroni, and then, of course, we're going to be making some Negronis. These are my research books that I've been doing, working with today. So let's get into it, because I don't know how much time we even have. I missed some of your chats. I know that Forlorn Hope was here. The first one I got, Captain Jack and Co. Good to see you, Captain Jack. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Hey ho from Moose. Good evening, Shawnee Panda Baker. Good to see you there. KT Kyle Tender, letting you guys know what day it is, in case you were wondering. You can always tell when the show goes an hour. It's a Saturday. Amy Beer is here. I only know from the Heyo here. Who else we got? Amy Nordstrom is here and ordering drinks. They're not here and ordering drinks. They're somewhere and ordering drinks. Jay Carter, party starter. Bam, bam, bam. I can't bring up, for the first time ever, I can't bring up my sound effects board because I need the phone for other things. I have evidence on the phone, and you guys are going to want to hear this. Good evening. Sorry. GEA to Butopia. Susan Lang is here. Good to see you there. That is, of course, my mom. Winner of the 2025 Cush Tucky Derby Bonbon is here. Scotty DeBoy. Good to see you, pal. This is great. I don't know about y'all, but I need a cocktail. Somebody famous once said that. Lulu is saying it here, but Cocktail Lulu is saying it here, but somebody else once famous. Oh, they're at the Formosa in LA. I love the Formosa. They used to have the best beef and broccoli. Changed the whole menu up. It's very different now, but they used to have it. So if they still have beef and broccoli on there, it's worth a try. What's up, buddy? Okay. You got anybody watching? Yeah, we got a couple people watching. Okay, guys, let's get into this. The story that I have told for a very, very long time about the Negroni. Oh, sorry. This is what we're doing. We are, for some of these Saturday shows, we're going to go back to the basics. All right? We're going to go back to the basics. Because I am no longer a bartender that works in bars. I now have my own little thing going. I don't have a whetstone to sharpen my blade. I am now going to have to be sharpening my blade against my own amount of books and my own research. And thus, the old stories that I used to tell you might not be the right stories. Maybe we have found new things within the time that I have learned those stories. And in fact, today, I have some examples of that. So now you will not be able, you can't say, old Dr. Cush, he's been telling me a fib the whole time. You can now say, I have at least some proof that what is going on is different. So today we're going to go through the Negroni. The story that I always knew about the Negroni was a guy named Count Camillo Negroni in 1919 walked into a bar and he spent a little bit of time in America and then came back to Italy. What was he doing in America? He was being a gambler and a rodeo clown. For a while, he learned the way of American drinks. He ordered what would have been a Milano Torino, but with soda water on it. At that time, they were probably calling it the Americano. And he said, I don't want an Americano. I want something stronger. So a bartender named Scarselli. Fosco Scarselli took that soda water right out, and he put in some gin, and thus Count Camillo Negroni would come in and order that all the time, and people would start to say, I would really like to have whatever Negroni's drinking, and it became Negroni's drink, and that is what happens. Now, there's a really good chance Camillo Negroni never existed. Never existed even a little bit. Wasn't even a person. It wasn't not only was he not the person that invented the Negroni or got the structure going, he didn't even exist. Now, how do we know this? I have this right here. Now, we're going to go on to a website that we have never visited on this show before. We're going to pop over here. Maybe some of you guys recognize it. Maybe some of you don't. This is Amazon. Amazon is owned by Bezos. It's a place where you can buy books. At least that's what it is. On here, there is a book that is called, I'm just going to read it too. It's called Sulle e Tracce del Conte, la vera storia del cocktail Negroni. So this dude, whose name was Luca Pici, Luca tells the story of Count Camillo Negroni. He says this guy was, and this is a word that I've never, ever heard before. He said he was a wide boy. Wide boy. Anybody know the term wide boy? I had to look it up today. After getting through a number of let's say less tasteful sites than I wanted to be on, looking at some planes, looking at some fatty fatties, I found out that a wide boy is another name for a con man. It basically taking wide awake and throwing it next to boy. You're a wide boy. He was some sort of a gambler, grifter. He sounded like he was he's one of those, you know, he sounded like he was Ocean. What's the guy's name? First name? So Frank Ocean, not Frank Ocean. Who had the 11? He sounded like he was Ocean. Anyway, normally, okay, this guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. Let's head down to the reviews. Top review of this book. Luca Picci's book contains false information. Uh-oh. There's only two reviews. This one's a 1-star review. Luca Picci's book contains false information. First of all, says this thing. First of all, there is no Count Camillo Negroni in the Negroni family genealogy dating back to the 11th century. That's not good. Secondly, Luca Picci, I had no idea. Picchi. Luca Picci? We're calling him Luca Picci. Wrote the book as a marketing ploy to get people to come to his bar. Thirdly, the true inventor of the Negroni cocktail was General Pascal Oliver Comte del Negroni. Ugh. Pascal was real, and you can look him up. But see if you can find real information on Camillo. Camillo is a figment of Luca Picci's fertile imagination. I would not be surprised if Luca Picci also claims that Count Camillo was the original Indiana Jones. All right. Okay. I get trolls. I get people telling me I don't know what I'm talking about. Who wrote this? A guy named Colonel Hector Andrus Negroni. The Negroni family, inside of an Amazon review, refuted everything that Luca Picci's saying. So we started looking it up. There is no Count Camillo Negroni. Not that I could find, not that Jim Meehan could find, not that Davey Wonderich could find, not that did I say Meehan? Not that Meehan could find, not that any of these people could find. Gaz Regan couldn't find Camillo Negroni. He's nowhere to be found. However, there is a man named General Pascal Oliver Conte del Negroni. And this guy is French. He's French. The Negroni isn't even an Italian cocktail. This was a guy that was fighting in the Franco-Prussian War. He was down in Africa, a French general down in Africa, and he took a bunch of recipes and he threw them together and he found the recipe for the Negroni. Now, which recipes did he put together? Let's look at them. 1929. Stay with me. 1929, the Campari Mixte shows up in a cocktail book. 1929, that's the first time we ever hear about it. Let's start here. In Jim Meehan's book right here, the PDT, this is a great bar and a great book. The combination of gin, sweet vermouth, and Campari showed up as a Camparinette and the Campari Cardinal in French and Spanish books. Not the Negroni. Wasn't called the Negroni. It was called the Campari Mixte or the Campari Cardinal in French and Spanish books such as Cien Cocktails and L'Heure des Cocktails before being recognized universally as the Negroni. Those books came out in 1929, 10 years after the Negroni was supposedly created, and 1943. That's when we start seeing anything that has to do with any of this stuff. Okay, all right. Oh, hold on for a second. 1947, we finally see the word Negroni cocktail written in any Italian book. It's written in one called Gandiglio. It's the first ever time it's written about. 2 years later, 1949, we get the first American reference to it. Who is that? Orson Welles. What? Orson Welles, first American to ever start to mention the Negroni. What did he say about it? He said this exactly. He said, the bitters is good for your liver. The gin is bad for you. They balance each other out. That's what he said. That's what we hear. Okay. Let's go back a little bit further. 1895. We have the Dundorado cocktail. The Dundorado cocktail. All right. It has a Campari-like bitters. It's Cinchona, but it's a slightly different brand of Cinchona with gin and sweet vermouth. That's the Dundorado cocktail, 1895. That's written by a guy named George Kepler. This dude put that together. Oh yeah. 1 second. Smoking gun right here. This right here, The Joy of Mixology by Gary Gaz Regan. Gary Gaz Regan, this, a little part of Gary Gaz Regan, this is his finger. This was a dude that loved the Negroni so much that they made this spoon for him so that he could stir the Negroni the way he thought was the only proper way to stir Negroni, which was with his filthy finger. So instead of stirring with the filthy finger, they made him this little guy, so he had a little spoon. This dude wrote a whole book on the Negroni. However, in The Joy of Mixology, what does he write? Okay. An Italian count by the name of Camillo Negroni created this drink circa 1919. Okay, maybe he doesn't know. Maybe Gaz Regan doesn't know. When he asked Fosco Scarselli, a barman at the Cafe Florence, Italy, to substitute gin for the club soda in his Americano. The first printed recipe I can find for the Negroni, however, are in 2 books. When? 1955. 1955. You are telling me, and listen, you're telling me that you are Count Camillo Negroni. You have the world. You're a wide boy. You are a wide boy, son. You can't get your name written on a recipe. 1955. That's the first time Gaz Regan sees about it. 1929. We see the Campari Mixte. Very, very similar to the Negroni. However, it's shaken. First, it's shaken, and also not in an Italian book. We also saw the Campariette, also not in an Italian book. It is gin heavy, however, We do not see the word Negroni ever appear in a book until 1947. Count Camillo Negroni apparently died in 1933. It took 16 years to finally be in a book? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think we've solved it, guys. I think that it was General Pascal Oliver Conte de Negroni that created this cocktail. He was a Frenchman. This is not, no matter how much Italian stuff you put in here, and everything you put in here is Italian, it was a French dude that came up with it. Yes, he had an Italian last name, but instead of being an Italian straight off, like one of those normal Italians, he's a French Italian. Did I get everything? I think I've said it all. Give me 1 second. Let me just check and make sure I got everything. The Milano Torino. The Milano Torino. So most people say the Milano Torino, when you add soda water to it, becomes the Americano. Hold on. Davey Wonderich says no. Davey Wonderich said the Milano Torino, which is just equal parts sweet vermouth and Campari mixed together, the Milano Torino already had soda water in it. The reason it's called the Americano is because the Americans during Prohibition loved it so much. When did Prohibition start? 1919. So, Count Camillo Negroni could not have been drinking an Americano at that point because Americans weren't traveling out to Europe in order to have their Prohibition drinks until at least 1919. So the Milano Torino would not have been the Americano. It would have been the normal Milano Torino. And so Count Camillo Negroni couldn't have even said, hey, I'll take that Americano, but switch out the soda water for the gin. He would have had to say something like, I'll take the Milano Torino, switch out the soda water for a gin. That's not quite as good of evidence. I think that there is enough evidence here, though, to prove that, first of all, because of an Amazon review from Colonel Hector Andres Negroni, who is a real person, is a very real person. He says, no, I've done the lineage. I've done the 23andMe. I've done the, what's the other one? Whatever it is. I've done those. We got no accounts of Count Camillo Negroni. Didn't exist. He isn't a person. We have solved it anyway. I will no longer be telling the story about Count Camillo Negroni. I feel like a fool. I feel like an absolute buffoon that I've been telling you guys that story. Instead, we're going to tell the Amazon story about how we thought it was a guy named Count Camillo Negroni, but instead, it wasn't. It wasn't. The Count clearly needed a publicist. The Count had a publicist. It was Luca Pucci. Luca Pucci, the Italian guy that wrote the book, The Real Story of the Negroni, was Count Camillo's, that was his publicist. But he was completely made up. Luca Pucci made him up. Thus, we can start to make the Negroni however we want. Now we can open it up. It isn't because Luca Pucci, in his Veritable, the real story of the Negroni, telling us all about Count Camillo Negroni, saying he wants equal parts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There is no correct way to make this. You can make a Campari mixte. You can make a Camparietta. You can make a Milan Torino. Take out the soda water. Add in some gin. You can make it however you want. That is what we're going to do today. We're going to find a few ways to make this. We're going to find a good way to make the Negroni. How long did that go for? 20 minutes? Okay, too long. Let's go. This is Campari. That's Campari right here. This is Campari. This is a red Italian bitter. I did not realize it until today. Maybe I should have, but I didn't realize it. It has a lot of cinchona. Where else do we find cinchona? Tell me. Where else do we find cinchona? What main ingredient do we find in cinchona that we really want to have for our cocktails? That's right. Quinine. Quinine. What is quinine? Quinine is what goes into quinine tonic. Nobody wants to say quinine tonic, so we just call it tonic. Tonic water is really quinine, quinine tonic. We just dropped the quinine because what are we doing? What are we doing? We got to say quinine every time? I got to go in an order of quinine and tonic? No. A quinine and gin and tonic? No. No. Gin and tonic. Drop the quinine. Anyway, lots apparently of quinine in here, which is why it goes so well with gin. Gin, the gin and tonic is a gin and tonic because the English, the sailor boys, the Navy boys, were getting malaria. And because the British Navy had a whole thing called totting, you were a totter. You could get you get free booze if you were a Navy boy. They had to find a way to shove malaria drugs down into their gullets, but they weren't drinking them. They didn't like them. They're gross. Quinine by itself is disgusting. So what do? They started flavoring the quinine with things like juniper. Started flavoring with things like citrus. They started flavoring with things like I don't know what else do you put in there? Hibiscus. Overripe papaya, all that kind of stuff to make the quinine tonic taste good for the gin. However, Campari contains quinine, and there may be a subtle connection that we have to quinine and all of its other flavorings with gin and all those other flavorings. And that's why this stuff goes so well together. Oh my God, I forgot a whole part of this. The Boulevardier. The Boulevardier, created in 1927. Where? France. France. It's created in 1927 in France for the Boulevardier thing. When did we first see anything written about the Negroni? 1929. 2 years earlier. 2 years earlier. According to writing things down, which is what we have to base this all on, the Boulevardier came before the Negroni. Oh my, it's solved. Done. Anyway, Campari. This is Campari right here. Campari is, of course, Milano. It is Italian. It is a type of red, what do you call this? Red Italian bitters. This stuff, delicious. If you do it right. Horrible if you do it wrong. That's just my opinion. Some people, I know Shawnee P's out there taking full shots of it. Let's start by making a regular old Negroni. Then we're going to expand it. We're not going to go into, I see you guys, let's see, try a Negroni with aquavit instead of gin. It's amazing. We can certainly do that. What we want is proportions. So we're going to do some with a little bit more gin, a little bit more sweet vermouth, and we're going to do one with a little bit more Campari. But let's make a normal one first. Cool? Equal parts. 1 part Campari. We're making babies because there's stuff to do. This is 1 ounce of some gin. This is Italian gin I'm using. It's Alto by the Rangoni folks. Good dudes. And then we're going to reach over here. Despite the fact that this cocktail was most likely created by a dude from France, we are not going to be grabbing any French vermouth. Instead, we're going to be grabbing some dry or some sweet Italian vermouth. We're going to go ahead and put in 1 part sweet Italian vermouth. Glug, 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 glug. Excellent. Got that. I brought in a lot of ice today, so we have lots of ice. Let's start over here. We made a bunch of ice yesterday, and now we are feeling good. We're going to go ahead and grab one of these clear cubes out of here. Look at that. It's delicious. Okay, let's throw this cube in here. It's going to crack because we did not temper it. Right there. There it is. Oh, got one more? No. Okay. We are going to be stirring all of these Negronis today. Oh, sorry. We're going to be shaking a Negroni. We're going to be making a Campari mixte, and we're going to be shaking it, seeing what that does to it. Oh my gosh, we have so much to do. Okay, we're going to give this a little stir. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna sip this one, and then we're gonna shake this one. Pretty cool. Let's serve it up like it's meant to be. There we go. We also, this is fun. We also, in the very beginnings, let's all congratulate Kyle on his beautiful orange. I do believe that this is the last orange of the season. I thought that this one wasn't there, but we had one extra. It was hiding. We're gonna go ahead and just take this guy right here. We're just gonna get a little shaving here. This is a very juicy orange, so I do want to bring this guy in so you guys can maybe see the garnish cam. We're gonna get real close. We're gonna squeeze. Oh yeah, look at that. See all that? All that good orange. Thank you, Kyle. You did it. This, the modern Negroni, a cocktail that comes from a cocktail called the Campari Mixte, or the Campariette. It is good. It's in fact, it's very good. Okay. There is, you know what? Kyle, do you want this? Kyle, come in and get this. It's a little one, but I know that Kyle loves this stuff. Let's make okay. There is a oh yeah, he's literally waiting by the door right there. There you go, buddy. You got it? Cool. Enjoy. Okay. There is a type of cocktail called a mixto. A mixto. Mixto, basically when you take any kind of Amaro, you put it with some ice, and you shake the crap out of it. All of that sugar starts to bubble up. It gives you a really nice little foam on top of it. Why then wouldn't, if there's a whole cocktail situation going with that, why wouldn't we try this, the whole Negroni, full on shaken? Just full on shaken. Let's shake it. Normally, I would not recommend shaking a fully boozed cocktail. That is not normally what we're up to. But today, we are experimenting. Let's do 1 part Campari. There we go. You can go back on your shelf. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Back on your shelf. We're gonna do 1 part gin. And 1 part sweet vermouth. Italian vermouth. Yes. Okay, let's see how we do when this one gets a old shakerooski. All right, we're gonna do a little mixte. We're gonna do our mixto. We're gonna shake this one. See if we can't get some of that good frothing, some of that sugar to bubble up. See if we can't get a good head on this one. Let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, big old red head on there. We've cracked a bunch of ice at this point, so now we're going to use this guy instead. All right, now look at that. First of all, that right there. Look, you even get a little foam there on top, a little separation. Bring in separation cam real quick. Look at that. Kind of looks like a Jupiter. Pour that in there. All of those colors, all of those swirls look like there's a big red storm going on top of here. It looks nice. This is only 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, and look how tall we get up on there. So we now have added water into this one. We've also added some bubbles into this one, give it a bit of a smoother mouthfeel. Saturn, yes, that's right, Bonbon. But we've now given it a bit of a shakerooski. Let's see. I'm out of breath. All this debunking put me out of breath. Let's see what we do. Let's see how we did. This is going to annoy a lot of people. I think it's better. Let's do it right. This whole orange here. Yeah, listen, I don't want to send you out into the world just to go annoy bartenders, but a shaken Negroni is slightly better. More mouthfeel. It seems like I'm a pervert when I say that kind of thing. It gives a little bubble. Certainly imparts a little bit of water, but the Negroni, that's a smash mouth cocktail, folks. That is a real big cocktail. Adding a little bit of shake to it does seem to sort of lighten it up a little bit, make it so that it's closer to the family that it lives in, which is the Martinez Martini Manhattan family. It's not a huge difference. I think it's pretty darn good, to be honest with you. I'm using a pretty big gin as well, so there's a lot of big flavors in here. With the shaking, it almost brings out a little bit more sweetness. Wow. So which one is that one? That one's the that one's the Campariette. No, Campari Mixte. I threw my book away. 1929, something right around there. That's the first time we ever see this, but we see it instead of as a stirred drink, which is what the Negroni has become. We see it as a shaken drink. We also, and this may change something a little bit, we see it with a lemon squeeze instead of an orange squeeze. I don't do, I got Kyle. Can't break his little heart. His lemon tree hasn't done anything yet, but his orange tree, whew, that's a monster. All right. Should we shake the rest of them? I think maybe we should. Sorry, are we having what's the conversation going on tonight? Cleaned. I didn't remodel, but I cleaned for hours. Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. I think there's something. 6th day of kitchen remodel from Mr. and Mrs. Tiki Tom. Oh my gosh, 2 cocktails this week. Normally I might have 1 a month. Well, welcome. Let me introduce you to the Campari Mixte. It's very similar to a Negroni, but it certainly came before it. That is delicious. Okay. Obviously, there are lots of ways to make a Negroni. I want to try, me personally, I don't think that adding more Campari to my Negroni is ever going to make me happy. So we're not even going to skip. We're not even going to do that. I do want to see whether we can adjust some of the bits of the other stuff by adding in more gin, absolutely, or just a little bit more sweet vermouth to elongate this drink to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit longer, but maybe tone it down a touch. Let's just try. I think we got the majority of what I needed to say today done. I needed to apologize to you. Did I ever say sorry? I'm saying it now. I am sorry. I was told by my good friend Brian. I bartended with Brian for a long time. I also, because I am somewhat of a chameleon, I take you ever watch the show Heroes? There was the watchmaker. He was like the bad guy, and he would go in and he would steal other people's superpowers. That's kind of how I was with bartending. I would just learn from other people. He also taught me this. So I learned that fun dance, and also I learned about the Campari thing, and then I went up and I looked up Luca Pucci's book. And in Luca Pucci's book, he says Count Camillo was a real person. Turns out, I don't know why I'm pouring this in here. We can keep this. I'll drink that. All right. He said he was a real person. Turns out, probably not. All right. let's keep making a cocktail. I want to try it with more sweet vermouth. I think that's a more interesting thought experiment for me. So let's go ahead and just 1.5 the sweet verm. So we're gonna go ahead and put in 1 part here of Campari. We're gonna put in 1 part of our gin. And we're going to be putting in 1.5 parts of our sweet vermouth. I don't know. Should I shake it or should I stir it? I didn't really think about this before we started. Do we shake it? Let's shake it. Now, I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know what shaking sweet vermouth does to a thing. I also do know what telling somebody to shake a Negroni, what telling a bartender to shake it will do to a bartender. It will either, depending on what kind of bartender you have, it will either piss them off. It will make them think less of you, as if you are trying to do something different, or maybe they'll be interested. Hardly. I doubt that will be the case. We don't like to admit that we're wrong. I was nervous coming into this show, telling you guys I was wrong. But here's a little tip: if anybody ever gives you any grief for shaking a Negroni, tell them, "Don't worry, then. I'll just have a Campari mixte." Same thing, but French and shaken. Here we go. It's a sweet vermouth trying to get out. All right, let's go ahead and strain this one in. Let's see what kind of colors we get. Not as bright as the first one. A little less head on it. Not much less head, though. We got sort of a Saturn situation going here. I think that Campari is going to be going all over the place anyway. I do like, I'll be very honest, I like the look of a shaken Negroni. I think that it really does. I mean, I know that the bubbles are going to just pop up to the top and eventually you'll get this. And now, right here, we have just a regular old Negroni. But this one, a little different. Let's see. Will the sweet vermouth bring out any extra flavors? Will it sort of knock down a little bit of the Campari, which is an ingredient that I think needs to be bonked on the head every once in a while? Will it go well with the gin? Let's find out. Get it right. See, this is the stuff when you're not working in a bar that you forget. Garnish. I don't garnish a lot of my stuff when I'm drinking by myself. This is odd. This is what I'm getting in this. Because the sweet vermouth is not a strong ingredient. It isn't like, very rarely do you say like, boy, that sweet vermouth is overpowering. Oh my God, I can't, it's too much sweet vermouth. Sweet vermouth, you drink by yourself, you know, you grab a bottle, you go to some sort of encampment somewhere, you drink a bottle of sweet vermouth, you fit right in. Really nice. Because the sweet vermouth really isn't doing a lot to defend itself against the other flavors, it doesn't really do much. All it does is sort of make the other flavors angrier. Sort of brings out flavors of the other flavors. So like the gin is just a little angrier. And the Campari, just a little angrier. That's what I'm getting. Yeah. Yeah. You know what it is? This is what it tastes like. It tastes like diet. The sweet vermouth added to this makes it taste like a diet Negroni. Like, some people, I know a couple of them, crazy, love Diet Coke. They're like, oh, you don't have Diet Coke? I don't want a regular Coke then. I'll just have water. That's insane to me. Regular Coke is leaps and bounds better than Diet Coke. Diet Coke is awful. I wouldn't drink a Diet Coke. I don't care. Come across in the Sahara Desert, come across a whole oasis full of Diet Coke. I might keep crawling. I do not care for Diet Coke. I do not care for aspartame. This tastes like a diet version of the Negroni. Adding too much sweet vermouth makes it feel blank, makes it feel plain, and then because it feels plain, you're drinking it a little faster because, less calories, and now you run into an issue where you are having a worse cocktail. I do not care for more sweet vermouth, even though I love sweet vermouth. This is not. That is not it. So, hey, we knocked one off the list. We do not have to worry about adding too much sweet vermouth. I don't know about dropping any of the sweet vermouth back. I think finding equal parts of sweet vermouth is the way to do it. But currently, I much prefer the shaken regular old Negroni. Very nice. Okay. I thought my theory would take longer. So aspartame doesn't care for me, migraine city. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, aspartame, we shouldn't be, to be very honest, we should not be drinking so much sugar. We just shouldn't be. So before you switch to Diet Coke, just cut soda out. You know what's really nice? Topo Chico. Topo Chico. You know who says that? Luca Pucci. Luca Pucci loves Topo Chico. Just cut it right out. Oh, look at this. Just this is kind of a fun little thing. That was a big piece of ice before. We cracked it. Absolutely decimated it. Where do we put it? You want one? Yeah, all right. I really want... We will eventually get a Kyle cam. I don't know when, but we will eventually get it because there's a whole show that goes on in the comments, and then there's a whole show with Kyle. He literally poked his head and he goes... Yeah, they're just gonna sit here. Which one do you want? Do you want the shaken one, or do you want the one with extra? Okay, yeah, you want the good one. There you go. What? No, I don't want it. No. I have a feeling that I'm gonna prefer the gin one, the more gin one. So that's what we're gonna get up to next. Whole other show. Got 3 shows going on at any point in Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. Either the comments, the Kyle show, or what I'm up to. Okay. Listen, I want to try it with more gin. Let's start off with the gin. We're going to be putting in how many? I want to put in double. Yes, people are calling for the Kyle cam. I understand. We're going to go ahead and put in 2 parts gin, 1 part sweet vermouth, 1 part of the Campari, and go from there. So that's 2 parts right there. We'll do 2 parts like this. We'll do 1 part Campari. Right there. Where's all the stuff going? Okay. Let's try and be a polite bartender. Again, I don't work in bars anymore, so I forget that it's very, very rude to put ingredients back where they don't go. And we're going to go ahead and put in... Oh, sorry. Let's take off Kyle cam there. Kyle cam or bust. Okay. We need 1 part sweet verm. And I don't know, guys. I think we need to get another piece of ice, and I do think we're going to shake this one. Nice clear ice. Whoa, baby. Let's clear ice. All right, drop this in. Put you there. Give this a So, correct, Doug. This is going to be a 2-1-1. You son of a bitch. Kyle said he did get his seminar application in on time. The Secret of the 7 Oranges. So hopefully Kyle's seminar will be accepted. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But we may not have a Cush seminar this year at Tiki Oasis. We may instead just have a Cush hangout and a bunch of Rangoni stuff. Here we go. Ready? Shake it. Oh gosh, I do. This is kind of a never-ending stream of just beautiful coupe glassware. Yeah, I'm telling you the truth. I do think that a shaken version of the Campari starts off looking so cool. It has the crema on top. That's a crema isn't a cocktail word, I don't believe. That's a espresso word. But it does have that. Let's see what it does when it's really close like this. Yeah, it does kind of affect the little bubbles there. Drop that in there. It looks nice, served up. Yeah, shaken looks better. I couldn't agree more. I do think that I love a cocktail that has a change that goes on into it. That doesn't mean that every cocktail needs to include Empress gin where it changes, but like I do think that this drink you shouldn't let this drink sit for forever to drink it. It's going to start warming up. You don't need your drink to warm up, so this is kind of a timer going on to it. I also think that it just gives it like a little bit more depth. Otherwise, you put in. I mean, look at this one. Can you tell? Can you tell for 100% certainty that I did not just pour Campari into a glass and then put an orange in it? Gun to your head, God bullet. That will absolutely destroy you. It'll erase your soul. All right, to your head. Would you be able to tell me right now that I have not pulled a little switcheroo and just put Campari in a glass? Whereas this one looks like a cocktail. I don't know. See, now that's delicious. Wow. Yeah. More gin makes this feel more like it is a cocktail. It feels more like it is. You get that initial rush of we're drinking. Hey guys, we're drinking. It also really mellows out the Campari. The Campari is an issue. Just to me, guys, this is Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. If it was your exotic drinks, it would be called your exotic drinks. It's called Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. It's just me. Campari is an issue. Sweet vermouth is there to sort of elongate it, give it a little sweet, but the Campari also is bringing some sweet. Campari is an issue. Extra gin inside of this cocktail mellows out the Campari without making it feel like it's a diet drink. You're just sort of adding. It's like, if we're using the Coca-Cola analogy, it's kind of like Mexican Coke. The real sugar cane Coke. It feels realer. It feels like all of the ingredients are absolutely playing in harmony in this. I know it's an extra ounce of gin. I don't think. Let me just think about it. I gotta go back into my brain, and if I'm at a busy bar, I'm at the Association back in its heyday. Back when it was a super busy bar. We are, I don't know, what, 5 deep, right? I got people lined up on the bar, 5 bartenders back here. I got Ian. So I got Ian over here. I got Kyle Krogan all the way down that way. I got Brian and I got Christian in the service well. And somebody walks up to me and says, "I want a 2-to-1 Negroni shaken." Would that drive me crazy? A 2-1-1. A 2-1-1 Negroni shaken. Let me just play it out. So there I am sitting there, and then suddenly from nowhere, we're gonna name this guy Brad. And he's like, "Hey." Okay, now if he walks up and says, "I want 1 regular Negroni and 1 2-1-1 shaken," that's gonna drive me crazy. I know that already. He walks up and he's like, "Hey, I got a 2-1-1. Can you shake it?" I think I'd be okay. I think I would be fine. Honestly, I think I would be fine. If you walk up with that terminology, "Hey, give me a 2-1-1 Negroni shaken in a busy bar," I think I'd be okay. That's just me. Sometimes I had a bad attitude. I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of doing this show is penance. People were wondering what happened to him. Oh, he's back. Forlorn Hope is here, guys. Yeah, 2-1-1 Negroni. Can I get a Negroni 2-1-1 shaken? Can I get a 2? Yeah, do it like this. If you want to order it like this, what I would say is the best style of Negroni. Can I get a Negroni 2-1-1 shaken? Make sure you do the drink first. That way they click it into their brain. A Negroni, cool. And then a 2-1-1 shaken. Can I get a Negroni 2-1-1 shaken? Yeah. 1 second. I gotta get my book again. I threw it and I really should have kept it. Oh my gosh. I just want to get, because there was one in here that I thought was the closest to it, and I think I wrote it down. Oh, then Campari. 1943, we see a cocktail called the Campari. It was gin heavy, and it was shaken. So technically, I suppose, this is not a Negroni, because what the heck is a Negroni? It isn't anything. But this would be a Campari. It would be a gin-heavy, sweet vermouth, and red Italian bitter with some cinchona, shaken. A Campari. Now, you can either spell it with 1 T or 2 T's. That's up to you. I think that's whether you want to do it in French or Spanish, not Italian. Turns out the Negroni might not be Italian. Okay. Guys, to be very honest with you, this I think is the winner. I think a gin heavy version of this is the way to go. So there we go. Do I have anything else? Yeah, 1927, we see the Boulevardier. Did I mention that? 1929, we see the Campari Mixte, which is a shaken cocktail. So that's the first time we ever see anything like that. 1947, 20 full years before the Boulevardier came out, we saw the Boulevardier. So 20 full years before Orson Welles ever mentions that bitters are good for the liver, but gin is bad for you, and they level each other out. And before that, we saw the Dundorado cocktail by George Capeller, which was very similar to what we're up to. Okay, I think we did it, guys. I really think that we have figured this out. Oh, dang. Kyle, I completely forgot to do that. Kyle told me, listen, we're gonna start having guests very soon. I have been just like backlogging a lot of guests. I saw a couple of my friends today. My very good friend, who's been on the show, you guys might remember him, JD Walsh, he's got a project, and I saw some of my friends, and it turns out some of my friends In the meanwhile, it's like since we've like seen each other, I haven't seen some of these friends in 10 years, got famous. So we're gonna try and have some fun friends that are doing fun, famous things come on the show, say hi. Turns out, I think we're gonna go talk to him soon. But I am very good friends. One of my best friends in college, which was now 20 years ago, is a guy named Evan. And he runs a great Instagram account, YouTube account, and mostly a TikTok account called The Dad Who Lived. It's very funny, very, very funny. He was one of my best buds. But now he does Harry Potter content, where but he's never the young adult in the Harry Potter content. He is the dad, being like, "What the hell's going on?" It's very funny. Anyway, we'll talk to. We're gonna get Evan on the show here soon. We're going to get a few other great people. Anyway, that is what we're planning on doing here soon. You guys mind if I just check something real quick? I got to just make sure that I know I have a flight coming up, and I want to make sure that I will be here on Tuesday before I go too far with you guys. Let me just go ahead and put Iron Team just to see where I'm gonna be. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So there will be no show on Tuesday. There will be no show on Tuesday. We will instead be hanging out. Why don't we do a show Monday? Can we do a show Monday? I think we can. Just trying to figure out when we can do a show. Because we do. I don't think that they are able to. I don't think they're able to do it right now, but we do have a new Patreon members. We have the Nordstroms. The Nordstroms have joined, and the Nordstroms need a bottle ceremony. So we will be doing that. Let's try and do that on Monday. So we'll be back here Monday, guys, to do something fun. In the meanwhile, let's. Oh gosh, change some doctor's appointments. In the meanwhile, guys, thank you so much for showing up to Dr. Cush's Exotic Drinks. Remember, Negroni 211 shaken. Negroni 211 shaken. That's what we found tonight. I do think that that is a perfect type of Negroni. Serve it up or over the rocks. I would suggest if you're going to shake it, serve it up. You're already adding a bunch of extra water. But Negroni 211 shaken, you'll find yourself in a good spot. Until then, oh yes, remember these classes will always remain free, but if you can't help out, there's a few ways you can do it. I do have a Patreon. Thank you very much to the Nordstroms for doing that. Thank you to those of you who are allowed behind the bar. People like winner of the 2025, cannot believe it's 2025, Cush Tucky Derby for showing up. That is Bon, of course. Thank you for being a huge supporter of the show. Thank you to Keith and Avery. Thank you to the Greens. Thank you to all of you that do that. That really keeps the bar going. We don't make. The bar doesn't make any other money. That's the only thing we do. Other than that, it's about a half of my day to prepare for these shows, and that's a half of day that I'm not working. So thank you guys for helping out there. That keeps the bar going. If you can't help out financially through Patreon, PayPal, or Venmo, we do ask, please, that if you know any tiki friends or just any cocktail friends, tell them about the show. That helps out the show a ton. If you can't do any of that, the best thing you can do is exactly what you're doing right now, which is show up. We do classes Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 6 p.m. when we can. We will be back here on Monday this week. So be prepared for a Monday show. What are we going to do on Monday? I don't have a clue, but we're going to do something fun. Monday Fun Day, I believe is what they call it. So be back here on Monday where we will do that. I'm going to play the outro right now. Kyle is yelling at me. Was yelling at me beforehand saying, you got to get the after hours talking where everybody's in a little thing. I got to get that working. So that's what we're going to work on this week. We will have the Fern Core back here very soon. But in the meanwhile, watch these guys. Did I have too many Negronis? Watch these guys whose names are about to roll past your screen. Say hello to them and I'm going to dance for a minute. Till next time, guys, what do we always say? Things not working. Bye-bye. I didn't freak.